the Cave Show, to Tony Capobianco, I want you to name for me the last high-priced free agent that signed with the Lakers. Now, mind you, they won titles. They won 5 titles since the year 2000. Name the last high-priced free agent that signed with the Lakers. Superstar.
Oh, geez.
I know, you're in the Wayback Machine. It was Shaquille O'Neal. But they've been relevant, and they've drafted well, and they've drafted stars, and they've made trades where they've needed to make trades, like bringing Pau Gasol in, getting Lamar Odom in, getting Glenn Robinson to come in. They've made trades where needed, but their talent guy was a Derek Fisher draft, Kobe Bryant draft day trade. Those are the guys that they built around. And even if you go way back to Magic, they drafted Magic. They traded for Kareem. They drafted Worthy. They drafted Byron Scott. They drafted Norm Nixon. They've always been a draft core team. So I'm not falling for the okie doke or the banana in the tailpipe from Magic Johnson. He knows he has a good young core. He knows that if they stick together and play one more year, they can only get better.
Yeah, and with the Lakers, there's, you're saying you're going to be the Lakers regardless of what happens, what goes on, what moves are made or not made or drafted. They're still the Lakers. They still have that following. They may not have the stellar year, the stellar season, as for them to have, but they will get there. And like you're saying, with those, they're a draft team, and it just time. They will get to where they were with Shaq, Kobe, and more way back further, but they will have that team again, and we'll have to see who they will go up against and be that caliber team.
Exactly.
And I like how you bring up with Houston and them coming up against them, and that's another team that has, I guess you can has attracted fans over the last seasons. And if we can recall when Harden went to the Rockets, they weren't so sought after, and now they've gradually, they flew under the radar, and they gradually have appealed more, especially after the performances in the playoffs and what Harden has accomplished, and especially, after now this year, when obtaining the MVP, and being awarded the MVP. So where do you see that places Harden, and not only him, but the Rockets? And now that also the Rockets have also picked up Carl D'Antoni once again.
The Rockets are just a good team. And to be honest with you, I like what James Harden said after he won the MVP. They don't – he didn't say we don't need LeBron. What he said was we don't need to make that many changes. And he's right. They were, as he called it, a Chris Paul injury away from beating Golden State. And, that's – Golden State could come back and say, yeah, well, we were Andre Iguodala away from this not even being a series. So that they could go back and forth with that nonsense. But next year, Clint Capella will be better. If they bring back Ariza, he's a good 3-and-D guy. He shoots threes, he plays defense. Maybe Luke Maubate, and I just jacked up his name, won't get hurt. James Harden will still have another good year. Provided there's no injuries, this team should get better. And they'll be a force to be reckoned with. So Houston, though, a lot of people sleep on Houston. The Houston Rockets used to be the San Diego Rockets a long time ago in the ABA. And they had a cat named Calvin Murphy, 5'10", could fill it up. They were a decent team then. They moved to Houston. They were a decent team. In the 70s, they were always a decent team. They actually made the playoffs quite a few times. In the 80s, they drafted Akeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson. They actually went to the finals before those guys even got there in the 80s. They went back to the finals with them in the 80s, only lose to Boston. In the 90s, when Michael was playing baseball and making a mid-season comeback, they won 2 titles. They also went to the they challenged for a lot of stuff in the playoffs after that. Before Mike D'Antoni got there, they were a playoff team under Kevin McHale. They won some games under Bickerstaff and made the playoffs. They weren't very good or cohesive, but Houston has always been a solid team. And a lot of people sleep on the fact that Houston always has had a superstar, from Calvin Murphy back in the day to Rudy Tomjanovich back in the day to Akeem Olajuwon, now to James Harden. So Houston can make moves and do things. I think what's key to them, and obviously I think they will do it, they'll re-sign Chris Paul, bring him back, and that will make them a strong contender in the West.
Yes. And one thing, like, I feel like the Rockets they're underestimated by many, and I think that shouldn't be the case. Fans should pay more attention to them because they are a great team, and it seems like, yes, even though they may not make it all the way through, or you don't expect them to make it as far as you do, they're not to be underestimated. They will fight. They're scrappy, and they'll go after it. And I really thought that they would make it to the finals this year, and it just, was really sad not to see them there, because I think that they really do deserve it. I think Harden deserves, to be there and win a title. I hope we get to see that, because this is a team that should not go unnoticed.
Well, and they won't. And they have. I mean, in all honesty, a lot of people hopped on the Houston bandwagon with this. I just don't believe there is a team currently constructed that can beat the Golden State Warriors. In fact, I firmly believe, I don't think they'll do it, and I don't think he'll do it because his ego is too big and it shouldn't be anymore. But if the Golden State Warriors can convince Dwight Howard to take mid-level money and go there and play defense and get rebounds and get dunks and lobs and be pretty much a JaVale McGee on steroids that they can get more time out of, if they could convince him to do that, so you could guard against the Quentin Capellas and then Nikola Djokovic's and those guys, they'll win again. They'll come right back and win again. And you have Klay under contract. Kevin Durant will sign another 2. Next summer, Klay comes up. He's already expressed interest that he wants to come back. This team is put together in a way that it's going to be hard to beat them. And they have young guys in Jordan Bell and McCaw, and they got young guys that are willing to come off the bench right now and play hard, because they're playing for their future contracts, if not with Golden State, with other teams. So you're right. Houston, with the hard work, deserves to put themselves in a position to do well. I just don't see. And I'm sorry for all the other NBA fans out there. I don't see a team constructed in a way to beat Golden State the way Golden State is put together. And that's why I think teams like Houston and other teams that want to constantly stress, pace, shot, you're playing their game. I think the way to beat Golden State is to not play their game. And I'll compare that back to the Chicago Bears back in the day. They constructed a 46 defense that blitzed like crazy, got up in you, drove you nuts, knocked quarterbacks out the game. Those 7-step drops were deadly for quarterbacks. 5-step drops were deadly for quarterbacks. They never got the ball out in time. And then what happened? Bill Walsh comes along with the West Coast offense, 3 steps, drop, go. 46 defense couldn't deal with that because everything was attack. Well, basically the West Coast offense used your attacking up the field against you because you're going up the field, the ball's already out. So then what do they come with? Pittsburgh Steelers come up with the zone blitz. So now you don't know where that's coming from. So then a team comes along and they come up with something else. Well, that's the cat and mouse game. Right now, no one's playing the cat and mouse game with Golden State. Everybody's playing the cat game. Everybody wants to be the cat, and they're trying to play their game, and it's not working. I think you're going to have to do something different. I don't know what that means per se. I don't know how to draw it up or what to say. I don't know if that means you need to use more size against them. Maybe the New Orleans Pelicans have it right if they bring Boogie back and say, okay, let's see if Golden State can defend 2 7-footers that are both very talented. I don't know, but everyone's trying to beat them at their game, and you can't beat them at their game. So I just think it's kind of funny right now.
Yeah, you have a point there. And, just go back to the finals. The Cavs, when they tried to, they couldn't do it. And it seems like it's really impossible. And I would like to see the team who would be able to take down, the Warriors and stand up against them and knock them down and, if anybody can, or what it will take for that. So they are an amazing team. I will, give them that. They're just the team to beat. So they do they put on an exciting game, and nothing that compares. So, and then they
Joanna, let me ask you this question real quick. Let's say Golden State loses the title next year, right? Say in a 7-game series they lose to Boston, okay? Or say in a 7-game series they lose to Philadelphia, one or two up-and-coming teams from the East. If they lost one time in the finals, or say they went 3-5 in the finals over the last 5 years, do you think that would make the Golden State owners want to break them up or fuel them into getting better and adding more to what they had to come back and win again? Because the last time we saw Golden State lose in the NBA Finals, they had come off a 73-win, record-winning season, got beat by Cleveland because all the stars lined up with Draymond getting suspended for a game, Bogut hurting himself out for the series, Andre Iguodala hurting his back and couldn't play. Everything lined up perfectly for Cleveland to win that year. And what happened the very next year? They went out and got Kevin Durant and got even better, and now they won back-to-back. Mm-hmm. So just because you get them once, that doesn't tell me that they go, oh, well, hell, NBA's caught up with us. We're done. Hey, Freddie, bring up the U-Haul. We're done. No, they'll go out and get someone else that complements Clay and Steph and KD and Draymond and Livingston off the bench and Iguodala off the bench. They just go out and get that next guy. And that's why I think, don't be surprised for me saying this, that's Dwight Howard. Because they see, wow, Clint Capella really gave us some fits. If we had a defensive center back here that can kind of offset what he does more consistently than what JaVale does, we may easily get 2 more. So I'm just saying I don't see a loss or 1 year not winning over the next 3 or 4 years really saying, well, this train is derailed. I just think the train just retools.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then they'll just find a way to get back there. But things also happen. So, one thing right now, what comes to mind is Golden State are, the caliber team the Lakers were in their hype.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So, and to take that away from the Warriors, I'm not saying it's going to take a year or it's going to happen overnight, but it's they're the team that you'll have to fight against to get to where you want, and if you can take them down.
Yeah.
So I like to see them play, and they just put on a good game. Whoever it is they're playing, was regular season or playoffs, whatever it is, and then just they just go up against you and prove you wrong.
Yep. Well, we'll see. That believe it or not, basketball season is 3 months away. We just don't know it because it's going to be in the news for the next few weeks, especially with Summer League starting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that'll be even more excitement coming our way. So
Yep.
we'll see what happens. And with a lot more excitement